Why is there evil in our world? Why do we see suffering, pain, and darkness? Doesn't it seem odd that in a universe full of beauty, evil exists too? But maybe, just maybe, the presence of evil isn't a mistake. Maybe it's not a glitch in the matrix. What if it's all part of a bigger picture? Today, we're going to explore the nature of evil. Why is it here? Why is it part of the whole? And why there's no need to get rid of it. Buckle up, because this conversation might change how you see everything. Let's start with a simple question. How do you know it's good? Think about it for a second. If you've only ever felt warm sunshine, you'd never know what cold feels like. If you've only known kindness, you'd never understand cruelty. Good and evil are two sides of the same coin. Without one, the other simply couldn't exist. Imagine a world where everything is good, no contrast, no challenge, no suffering at all. In a place like that, would good even mean anything? It's only through experiencing both sides, the light and the dark, that we gain perspective. In non-duality and spirituality, we call this the dance of opposites, the play of contrasts. It's how life teaches us balance. Evil, then, is not a separate force that's here to ruin things. It's not a mistake in the universe. It's part of the rhythm, part of the balance. Just as the ocean needs both waves and stillness, life needs both light and darkness. When we embrace this, we begin to see the bigger picture. Alright, so if evil is part of the balance, why is it here? Why do we see things like suffering, hatred, and fear? To understand this, we need to go back to one of the most ancient teachings, non-duality. Non-duality says that everything in existence is one. It's all connected. There's no true separation. But here's the catch. To experience itself fully, the universe has to experience both ends of the spectrum. Think of life like a grand story. If everything were peaceful and perfect, there'd be no growth, no discovery, no adventure. We need challenges to grow. And evil, in many ways, is just one of those challenges. Ram Dass, the beloved spiritual teacher, had a profound way of helping us look beyond appearances. He once said, if you see something that you don't like, just remember, it's just God in drag. Now, what does that mean? Essentially, Ram Dass was reminding us that everything in the universe, even what we find ugly or troubling, is an expression of the divine. Sometimes, God wears a mask that looks like suffering, anger, or fear, but behind that mask is the same source of love and light. This doesn't mean we have to accept everything blindly or ignore injustice. Instead, it's a gentle invitation to see the bigger picture, to recognize that even the things we label as evil or wrong are part of a divine play, a cosmic drama unfolding. When we shift our perspective like this, we learn not to judge what we see, but to understand that each aspect of life, even the painful ones, has its place in the whole. We realize that, as Ram Dass says, it's all God in drag, playing different roles to help us grow, to deepen our compassion, and to teach us how to see beyond dualities. And this perspective frees us. Instead of being trapped by fear or anger toward the so-called bad things, we can step back and smile, knowing it's all part of the dance, the divine costume that God wears to keep things. Evil, in this sense, becomes a teacher. It shows us what doesn't work, What doesn't feel good? What needs change? Without that, we'd never know what it means to seek peace, kindness, or compassion. Think of it like a compass. Evil shows us where not to go, so we can find our way toward light and love. It's like a shadow. You need the shadow to understand the light. So, in a strange way, evil serves a purpose in helping us understand good. Now, you might be wondering, but if evil causes suffering, shouldn't we just try to get rid of it? Here's where things get interesting. If we spend all our time trying to fight or erase evil, we end up creating more struggle, more tension. Why? Because what we resist persists. Trying to erase darkness only makes it cling more tightly to us. The more you try to fight evil, the more you try to push it away, the bigger it becomes. This isn't just some abstract idea. It's an energetic law of the universe. Whatever we give our energy to grows. Think of it like trying to forcefully hold back a powerful wave. The more resistance you create, the more momentum the wave builds. In our minds, we tend to believe that fighting something, especially something bad, is the best way to conquer it. But in reality, this constant resistance strengthens what we're fighting against. Think about it like this. If you chase your own shadow, it only runs away. But if you stop and look at it, you'll see it was just following you the whole time. In non-duality, we learn that it's not about fighting against the darkness, but about understanding it. We can recognize its purpose without needing to destroy it. Evil, like all things, comes and goes. Just like night turns into day, darkness fades into light when it's fully understood. When we let go of the need to get rid of evil, it loses its power over us. In the world of non-duality, there's a different way of seeing things. Instead of good versus evil, we see one whole, complete picture. Imagine you're looking at a piece of art. Up close, you might see dark, messy splotches. They might seem ugly or confusing, but if you step back and look at the whole painting, you see how each part adds to the masterpiece. The dark and the light, the contrast, the highs and lows, they all create the full picture. In the same way, good and evil are like brushstrokes on the canvas of life. Without one, the painting would be incomplete. So, in non-duality, we don't try to divide the painting into good and bad sections. We see the beauty in the whole, even in the darker strokes. So, how do we live in a world with both good and evil? Simple, really. We learn to embrace the whole. Instead of fighting the darkness, we recognize it and learn from it. Think of it like a dance. The light and dark are partners, not enemies. Together, they create movement, rhythm, life itself. When we accept both sides, we find peace. We stop the endless struggle to fix the world and start seeing it for what it truly is. Complete, perfect, and whole, just as it is. So, the next time you see something that feels dark or evil, take a moment. Pause and ask yourself, what's this teaching me about the whole? Remember, without darkness, there'd be no light. Without pain, there'd be no growth. Evil is not the opposite of good. It's part of the cycle. Just as night gives way to day, all things have their purpose. In this vast, interconnected universe, every piece, even the hard ones, belongs. When we see the unity in all things, we step into a deeper understanding of life. one that's free from judgment and filled with peace. Thank you for exploring this with me. May we all find peace in the beauty of the whole, the light, the dark, and everything in between.